Hey everybody, Nadix here. Welcome to the next installment of
Logging for Deer.
Today, I have some flagging tape, and the goal of today is to clearly identify each plot. And when I say that, we're gonna be logging a lot of the property in general, but there's certain areas, 4 in particular, that we're gonna show you today that we're going to completely clear. And I'm excited because this is really where it all comes together. We get to see the plot, see the area, and then the transformation before and after is gonna be really cool. So flagging tape, flagging trees, marking the 4 plots. Here we go. Another thing that I'm really excited about, this is a giant project. I mean, we've been talking about this, but I'm talking, we got 68 acres here, all timbered, right? So we're gonna be taking pretty heavily, a lot of trees out of here, and it's gonna change the feel of this property in a big way. It's gonna feel bare at first. And something that I'm prepared for is the long-term habitat plan, right? Getting more sun to the forest floor is really going to help, not just deer, right? As soon as that sun starts hitting the ground, all this regenerative growth happens. It's good for rabbits, it's good for woodchucks, it's good for everything. Bees, pollinators, you go on and on, but I'm just really excited to see and start the project. This is a big project. We're walking up on what we're gonna call plot 1, and you can see it's kind of a slow, gradual increase to the top of that ridge, and the top of that ridge right here on this end is flat. So kind of about midway through, from here to here, that's gonna be plot 1. So we're gonna get up there and mark it. See the deer? Multiple deer. That's good. One down and a lot to go. You know what I mean?
Hey Nate.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about what the weather's been like up to this point.
It's actually been a really beautiful winter, but it seems like every time we come out here it snows and has some type of accumulation, so.
Tries to kill our batteries.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the last video we did with Dave where it was snowing quite heavily, it crushed one of our camera batteries, so. You think it's gonna ruin it?
I don't think so. How about that?
It hurts. There's a part of me that it hurts to see these species, beautiful big trees, get cut. But what is a deer gonna eat right here? They're gonna eat this stuff. This is what they're eating. They're not eating here. They can't eat here. They can't eat this big, beautiful tree. This just doesn't do anything for them. So by me adding a field of whatever, whether it's brassicas or corn, or maybe it's beans, maybe it's switchgrass, it's just gonna provide diversity. They're gonna feel much more secluded here rather than this open timber. You can see 200 yards away. So every time I come in and access, these deer are able to see me. If I put some type of structure here, it's just gonna benefit everybody. It's gonna help me to hunt, it's gonna help the deer, it's gonna help wildlife in general, so. It's gonna be completely wild. All right, so this is plot 1, just finished flagging it. This property is it's hilly, it's terrain, feature rich, and putting these plots in a location like where I'm standing currently is gonna be good for planting lots of different species. Beans, corn, I can imagine some switchgrass in here, maybe some Indian grass. And it's just a really cool area because it dives down on a lot of these different angles and creates some saddles and some cool land features to hunt. So this is plot 1. We're gonna head on to plot 2 and flag that next. Here we go. So what this is the center of plot 2. This is kind of the high point. This is probably where we're standing, the highest point on the entire property, right where we're standing right this second. And I can see it really starting to take shape. Once this is cleared, I'm gonna do things a lot differently. You can see some of these brassicas didn't really take, just didn't grow the bulbs. This is a radish right here, and it just, you can see it didn't, there's no radish on the end of that. There should be a radish on the end of that. And basically what that is you'll take a core sample down. It's not very deep in the ground, but you'll take that, pull it out, put it in a bucket, and you take it to your local feed mill, and they'll tell you which minerals and nutrients it's rich on and the ones it needs improvement on. It's probably something I should have done last year. I just didn't have the time, didn't have the opportunity to do it, so I just kind of threw it out last minute, but that's something I'm gonna definitely do next time, especially if I'm gonna be planting this big area, this big clearing, investing a lot of money and time into. I'll definitely make sure to get a sample of the ground, and if I'm planting, let's say switchgrass, or let's say I'm planting, you know, sugar beets, whatever it may be, I'll make sure that it lines up with what the ground recommendations are. So we're gonna go to plot 3 now. It kind of just touches the end of plot 2. We're next down, so we're gonna walk over there right now. So right here is the end of plot 2, and it necks down. You can see it dives, and it dives. And basically, my original plan was to make this one contiguous flowing plot, but rather than doing that, I'm gonna leave these trees kind of in this pinch point, if you will. Good stand locations around here, and I can use this to my advantage rather than just make it a long continuous plot. So this is kind of the small neck down between 2 and 3, but basically 3 is gonna start right here. Right here.
Start of 3.
This is the start of 3 right here. Something I want to be very aware of is not to take too many of the top, the high areas, the ridge tops to clear, because that's kind of what I'm forced to do on this property specifically, is take a lot of the high ground, because low ground is true low ground. I can't really get it dry enough. It's just a continually wet or seasonally wet area. So something I'm being very conscious of is I'm not clearing all the ridge tops, right? Deer like to bed at those higher elevations. Am I gonna put diversity in here that creates deer bedding? Absolutely. I plan on planting some switchgrass, some different, you know, native grasses that are good for bedding. But I don't want to take some of these really good hinge spot areas where I can take a chainsaw, improve some of that bedding that's already there and existing. Like off to this point right here, this is kind of an edge of what I'm seeing is plot 3. And there's a really good bedding area. It kind of like dives and the elevation rolls, and deer like to bed in there to get out of the wind. So that's something I wanted to point out, is I'm not clearing all of my ridge tops. So that concludes plot 3. So I can really visualize like a grassy, I keep saying switchgrass, but I can really see like a flowing switchgrass field in here. I could also see like a bean field with a lot of topography. If you were spot and stalk hunting on the ground, it just gives a lot of opportunities in here to, you know, maybe get down on the ground, come in, make a stalk, and you have a lot of terrain to kind of hide behind. And that's what this spot is. That's why it's so cool. So there's so many trees in here, so it's really hard to like picture it all the way to the finished product, but I just really think that the finished product is going to be amazing. I mean, it's just gonna roll. I can just picture this nice dirt plot that I can come in here and plant whatever I want. So plot 3, let's go to plot 4. So here we are, we're in plot 4 right now. And this is like the most pretty, picturesque white oak stand that I have. So you can see these are a lot of white oaks in here. And as a logger, timberman, when I brought Dave in here the first time, he was noticing. I mean, look at this tree stand here. Big, beautiful white oak. You can just picture the frickin' acorns falling out of there. So I'm gonna start marking some of this. It's kind of sad, but we're gonna take off. You can kind of see the train, it rolls kind of. We're gonna take a good little section off the top here. Take these trees out. So we're gonna start marking. Yeah, buddy, we're gonna be taking some trees out of here. My golly. All right, so that concludes the marking for plot 4. It's gonna be incredible to have a camera sit right where that one is looking at me when the cutting's been done. It's gonna look completely different. I mean, completely different. This is a really valuable area of the woods in terms of dollars. These are all white oaks in here. They're beautiful. You can see them kind of shining in the sunlight right here. It's kind of bittersweet. You see these trees, it takes a long time for them to get to the point that they are. But when you have a plan in place, right? You have a cutting regimen that it's not going to hurt the woods. We're not taking out so many trees that it's gonna never come back. But this right here is gonna be a pretty food plot when it's all said and done. Lots of cool terrain dropping off to these wetland swamp areas. So that's plot 4. All right, everybody, that concludes this episode of the timber project out here on the property. I really hope you're learning something. I'm learning something every time I step foot out here. The project keeps continuing to kind of ebb and flow, and this is my real first go project of this scale. And so, you know, we face different challenges along the way, and we're just getting to that point where we're about to start, it's about to get real. We're about to start actually cutting. And I imagine the next episode is gonna be a lot of that. The crews are gonna get here. We're gonna see some trees hit the ground, some logging, and some tops being laid over, and the actual physical cutting is gonna kind of be next. That's the next step in this. So this is something that a deer can get to, right? That's the level that a deer is looking for. They're not looking for the leaves up in a tree. So I'm really planning on this being a long-term thing, something that my kids are gonna enjoy the fruits of me doing this cutting. Yes, there's a financial aspect to it. That's a perk and a bonus in my mind. I'm really doing this for the wildlife and all the different species that this is really gonna benefit. So that concludes this episode of the marking, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you later.